Now, if you've been watching the American Revolution series through episode 6, the conclusion, you've seen how Ken Burns weaves the stories of Native Americans deeply into the coming of the American Revolution and the Revolutionary War and its outcome in 1783. That story goes all the way back to episode 1. And if you remember the story of the Join or Die cartoon, Benjamin Franklin's political cartoon urging the American colonies to unite, to join or die in the face of threats from French and Indian attackers in the 1750s. And that dream of unification is something that propels the American colonies eventually to unite against what they see as British oppression. That same effort to unite is something that animates Native Americans through this entire story. Of course, they had a very long tradition of unification. The Haudenosaunee, or Iroquois Confederacy, speak to Benjamin Franklin in the very beginning of our story about the strength that comes from being unified. And all through this Revolutionary era, this is the challenge that Native people face as the Anglo-American Civil War that becomes the American Revolution pulls them in two directions. How are they going to secure their sovereignty and independence? By siding with the British, by siding with the revolutionary governments, or trying to remain neutral in the center? There is no group that more clearly embodies this story than the Oneida Indian Nation, who are featured in the Burns series and also here at the Museum of the American Revolution in a very dramatic theatrical presentation that takes you as a visitor through the arguments for and against siding with one side or another or trying to remain neutral in between these warring parties. Of course, for Native Americans, regardless of the strategies that they pursued during the Revolution, whether they sided with the British, whether they sided with the American revolutionaries, the outcome was largely tragic in the end for them. This is a photograph of an elderly Seneca man named Tawaneus, or Chainbreaker in English. He was a veteran of the Revolutionary War and lived into the age of photography. We have a remarkable collection of photographs reproduced at the very end of the galleries here at the Museum of the American Revolution, where you can look in the eyes of people who experienced the Revolution firsthand, some of them as children, some of them as non-combatants, many of them as soldiers who served under General Washington. They're a reminder that this complicated, complex story of the founding of the nation resulted in the creation of the American Republic, a 250-year-old experiment in liberty, equality, and self-government that continues to the present day. If you've been enjoying the series, you may be ready for a movie you can walk through, and that's the Museum of the American Revolution here in Philadelphia. Many of the people who've been featured through the 12-hour American Revolution series on screen are actually represented here in our galleries. You can see objects that actually belong to these people. We have an incredible immersive experience here so you can continue your journey and learn about the complex stories that launched America's experiment in liberty, equality, and self-government.